Hey my friends, today we'll be talking about channeling. 10 signs that you are channeling but maybe you don't know about it. Many times we are channeling but we are not aware that we are actually channeling. So what channeling actually means? We can find many different explanations about it, and we can go into any ancient tradition and we will find that they had different mystics, different teachers, different gurus or shamans who were channeling greater wisdom from the collective consciousness or the greater consciousness. So they were able to bring the right knowledge to the people. And many times we can find channelers which are channeling other beings or the consciousness of other entities from higher dimensions. But many people think that channeling is only channeling the consciousness of other beings. We can also channel an idea from collective consciousness. We can channel an information from collective consciousness. Many times we mention greater intelligence. We can channel an idea from that greater intelligence. So how to know that we are channeling and what we can do with that? If we just look at the quote from a great scientist, Nikola Tesla, he said, "My brain is only a receiver. In the universe there is a core from which we obtain knowledge, strength and inspiration." Which explains us that he understood, and many times he mentioned, that his body is more like an instrument of greater consciousness, which is expressing itself through him. And also, if we ask, many artists will say that my body is just an instrument. Also, I feel that way when I'm painting. I feel like my body is just an instrument. I lose myself in the process. I lose the sense of space and time while I'm doing that. So this is channeling, and let's go deeper into it. The first sign that you can recognize in your life that you are channeling whatever it is. If you would be channeling a certain being from higher dimensions, you would probably know it because that being would tell you that. But if you're channeling an idea or inspiration or a certain information which needs to go through you, you will feel an immense joy for it, a truly intense joy for expressing it. If you feel like you're doing something with such a great joy, maybe you don't know even why you're doing that, but you feel such a great joy for doing that you don't want to stop doing that. For example, I don't want to stop painting. I don't want to stop filming those videos because I feel such a great joy for doing that. It's a sign that you're channeling. Maybe not all of the time, but through the process you will get better at it. When you will learn when you're doing it from your identity mind and when you're doing it from the greater mind, when you will be able to find the difference between your identity mind and the greater mind, you will know better how to channel and when you're channeling that greater consciousness. The second sign that you're channeling is that you feel a lot of energy in your body while you're doing it. Maybe you start sweating, maybe you start moving your body uncontrollably. Maybe you feel like you want to dance while you're doing it. Whatever you feel, if you feel such an intense energy while you're doing it, it means that you're channeling. I start sweating a lot while channeling. And it brings us to the next sign, which is that after doing that, we feel truly exhausted. After I start painting, I feel like I was doing something for 8 hours. I feel exhausted many times, so I go to meditate or I go to sleep or I go at least into nature to connect and to recharge myself. If you feel that after you were doing something you were completely in love with doing that, if you feel exhausted after it, it means that you were channeling. The next sign is you're getting a truly positive feedback from people which are observing your work or just looking at what you're doing. If they feel kinda connected with it, or maybe they feel inspired by it, it means that you're channeling something. And when we're channeling something, it is always for the greater good for all. One interesting story that happened to me yesterday. In the afternoon I went to meditate, but I eventually fell into sleep. But during that sleep I had like a lucid dream where I found myself under the night sky. I was looking into the sky and there was a cloud, truly weird cloud. And I grabbed my camera, started filming it. And it was kinda normal while I was filming it, all in my dream. But then in my dream I started looking the video that I filmed that cloud. And in that video I started seeing powerful energy in it, and light, white and blue light started shining from that cloud. And I remember how I started smiling in my dream, like I thought it is happening for real. I was not aware that I'm dreaming. I thought that it was more real than my real life, I could say that way. And after that, I found myself in an old ancient temple. It looked like a Chinese temple, something like that. Soon after that, I found myself with an old man with a white beard. Also, he looked like a Chinese teacher of wisdom. I can explain it that way. And the most interesting part of that story was that old guy said to me, "You can only channel if you will use what you've channeled for a subject of healing." Then he said, "You can't channel if you don't know what to do with what you're channeling. If you're throwing the wisdom away or not knowing what to do with it." So it was so interesting to me because just yesterday I was thinking about making a video about channeling, and then I had that dream, so I thought probably it's a great message for myself and also for you, for everyone who is channeling. The greatest purpose of channeling is to bring that knowledge with a purpose of healing, however that healing can appear to others. The sixth sign that you are channeling is that people are healing from your work. For example, when I had my first exhibition, at that time I was not so aware of my paintings, how powerful they can be for others. But when people started observing my art, some of them started crying. Some of them came to me and they said like they felt a strong energy in their heart. And some people just lost their words. Not all of them, but many of people felt an intense energy while they were observing this painting. So I thought, well, I've created them with the same intention. My energy was truly strong while I was painting them, so probably this energy is printed in that painting. All my emotions of joy, of happiness, of love, from which I've created my art, is printed in the painting. And if a person can become so present while observing it, they can feel those emotions. It can create a healing effect on an observer. So whatever you are channeling, that work can help people to heal. And if you found a feedback that people are healing with your work, it means that you're channeling it. And sometimes we could say, well, I've read some books, I know the theory, so I started sharing the theory and people started healing. It's not a channeling. But I would say even to put the right information together is channeling, so people can benefit from it. Reading a book, knowing the theory is not helpful if you don't know how to package that knowledge in your own words, so it can still be helpful for others. So putting everything together just the perfectly right way is channeling. And when I've mentioned healing, it doesn't mean just physical healing of certain disease or something like that. it's most likely a mental healing and emotional healing as well. If an observer of your work can experience more love in their bodies, or more blissfulness, or more joy, they are healing. And by that, greater emotions, even body can start changing their biology, which is proven by science. So it can be a powerful work. The seventh sign that you're channeling is you feel like you are growing faster when you're doing that work. Many times when we're channeling, we are learning from our work. When I'm observing my paintings, every year I'm seeing them differently. Every year I can find more of knowledge in them, and therefore I'm growing with them. So if you feel like you're growing faster than ever since you've started doing that, it means that you're channeling and you're learning from your work. And it can bring us to the next sign, which is you're not sure from where it is coming. You're not sure from where all those ideas are coming, but you're so excited to channel them. Many times we can't know from where they are coming. Eventually, probably we will find it out, but most of the times it doesn't matter. What matters is that we use them and we manifest them into reality because they can be important for ourselves or for those who will find themselves connected with your work. So keep up with that. The ninth sign that you're channeling is that you've started doing it out of nothing. Maybe you were living a completely different life before, but suddenly you've experienced a strong feeling to start doing it. For example, I'm coming from extreme sports, completely different thing that is painting. I was never drawn into art. Nobody in my family is an artist. And suddenly I've experienced that I want to start drawing and painting my ideas. After I started meditating about 6 years ago, I started seeing different visions in my mind's eye. And firstly I thought, well, those are some creative ideas, but those visions became so important to me. I just got a strong feeling that maybe I want to learn to draw them. So I started drawing them, but drawings were quite non-understandable. So I said to myself, well, what if I would learn to paint? And I've learned to paint, and I started painting all those ideas, and ideas started coming to me faster and faster and faster, and until today I never ran out of those ideas. So I think that when we open that channel, when we open that portal, ideas, visions, voices, whatever you're channeling will be flowing to you until you will be willing to express them. And the last sign that I want to mention, probably I mentioned it before, is that you lose the sense of time while you're doing it. Many times when we are doing something with such a great joy and with such a great passion, we lose the sense of time and space. And scientists now in the sphere of neuroscience and energy psychology are calling it a flow state, where we become so present that we don't care anymore who we are, where we are, and how long we are doing it. It's a flow state. And if you are losing the sense of space and time, it means that you're channeling, because when we become so present that we are not identity anymore and we are not in space anymore, not being aware where we are, it means that our brain is not limited by identity anymore. So it becomes more accessible for greater frequencies carrying information. And if we open ourselves for greater information, we will be able to download data from a greater consciousness. and therefore we can channel greater ideas. So usually we can fall into a certain flow state for 1 hour or 2 hours or 3 hours or even more, and we will not be even aware that we were doing it for such a long time. But at the end, because of that, we will feel exhausted because it was such an intense energy. So if you feel that way, it means that you are channeling. So learn more about it. We can find many channelers, for example, Esther Hicks or Bashar, or even people which are not channeling certain beings. For example, Neil Donald Walsh wrote several books like Conversations with God and so on. And he said that he was setting a question to the God, like, why am I here? Why all these things are constantly repeating, when he was dealing with his suffering. And soon after that, he received an answer through a voice in his head, and he started writing a book with the help of that voice. And eventually he wrote many books with that voice, and his books helped millions of people. So you see, channeling can be truly powerful. And also do not be afraid of that, but do a research for your own health. Is it good for you? Are you truly feel connected with doing that? Do you have enough energy to do that? Do you need to change something, maybe about your sleep cycle, maybe about your diet, maybe about your mindset? And do the work. Don't be afraid of that, because maybe you're just a great healer, which your purpose can be to heal many people. So this is it for today, my friends. I'm sending you love, power, and blessings. I hope this video was helpful, and see you in the next one. One love.